Before we begin, take a deep breath. What you're about to hear isn't just a story, it's a journey of love, loss, and redemption. If you've ever loved someone so deeply that losing them felt like losing a piece of yourself, stay till the very end. And if this story touches your heart even a little, please hit the like button and subscribe. It helps us share more stories that remind the world what really matters. The snow was falling softly that night, blanketing the small town in silence. The streets were empty except for one man sitting on a worn-out bench by the frozen lake. His coat was too thin for the biting wind, but he didn't move. His name was David, and beside him sat a little girl with chestnut hair that peeked out from under a red knitted hat. She was smiling, her breath forming tiny clouds in the cold air. "Daddy," she said, holding out her mittened hand. "Remember when we built the biggest snowman right here?" David smiled faintly. "I remember, sweetheart. You made him wear my scarf and said he looked like a gentleman." She giggled, swinging her legs. "Yeah. You said he needed a hat, but Mommy said we should go inside before we froze." David nodded, but his eyes were distant, fixed on the lake. The ice gleamed under the streetlights, and a tear escaped down his cheek before he could stop it. "Daddy," she said softly. "Why are you crying?" He swallowed hard, forcing a shaky smile. "I'm just happy to be here with you, Emily." She smiled back, resting her head against his arm. The world seemed still, peaceful, until she whispered something that made his breath catch in his chest. "You forgot me." David turned sharply. "What?" Her eyes, those same bright hazel eyes that once reflected all his joy, were now filled with something he couldn't name. She looked at him with a sad smile. "You forgot me, Daddy. You stopped coming here." The wind howled through the trees, and suddenly David felt the weight of years pressing down on him. The snow, the bench, the frozen lake, it all came rushing back. Memories he'd buried deep beneath grief and guilt began to surface. Emily. His little girl. His heart thought she'd been gone for 3 years. The accident had happened on a night just like this, snow falling gently, Christmas lights glowing through frosted windows. They were driving home from her school play. She'd played an angel, and she'd been so proud, singing every word perfectly. He could still hear her laughter echoing in the car. Then came the blinding light, the sound of twisting metal, the silence. David had survived. She hadn't died in the months that followed. He'd lost everything, his marriage, his job, his will to go on. Every corner of the house screamed her name. Her empty room was both a comfort and a punishment. He couldn't bring himself to let it go, but he also couldn't bear to step inside. Eventually, he stopped visiting the lake, the place they'd always gone when life felt too heavy. The place where she used to throw snowballs at him and say, "You can't catch me, Daddy." But tonight, something pulled him back. Maybe it was the loneliness. Maybe it was the guilt. Or maybe Deep down, some part of him hoped she'd still be there. He looked at her now, this vision, this memory made real. The snowflakes sparkled in her hair, her cheeks flushed pink, her eyes full of warmth. "I didn't forget you," he whispered, his voice trembling. "I could never forget you." She smiled softly. "Then why did you stop talking to me?" David buried his face in his hands. "Because it hurt too much. Every time I thought of you, I broke all over again." "But Daddy," she said, touching his arm, "you're supposed to remember me. Even if it hurts. That's how love works." He lifted his head, tears freezing on his lashes. "I don't know how to live without you, Em." She looked at him gently. "You don't have to live without me. You just have to live for me." For a moment, everything went quiet. The winds softened. The snowflakes seemed to hang in the air like tiny stars. David stared at her, realizing what she meant. She wasn't asking him to move on from her. She was asking him to move forward with her memory, her laughter, her love guiding him. But he took a deep breath. "I don't know if I can." "You can," she whispered. "Start by going home. Tell Mommy I said hi. Build another snowman for me." And this time, she grinned mischievously. "Give him your hat." He laughed through his tears. "Okay. I promise." Her smile widened. "Good. Then you won't forget me again." Before he could speak, a gust of wind blew through the trees, and when he looked again, she was gone. Just the empty bench, the snow still falling, and the faint sound of a child's laughter fading into the distance. David sat there for a long time, staring at the spot where she'd been. Then, slowly, he stood up. His legs were numb, his heart heavy, but for the first time in years, he felt something else too. Hope. He walked home through the snow, the sky glowing faintly with the promise of dawn. When he reached his doorstep, he paused, looking up at the small window of Emily's old room. He whispered into the cold air, "I'll never forget you again, sweetheart." The next morning, neighbors saw him outside with a shovel, building a snowman. He laughed when the scarf fell off, and for a moment, they could almost hear another voice laughing beside him. If you're still watching this, take a moment. Think about the people you love, the ones who might not be here anymore, or the ones you haven't spoken to in too long. Tell them you love them. Visit that place you've been avoiding. Life is fragile, but love never fades, and if this story touched your heart, please like this video and subscribe to our channel. Not just for stories, but for reminders that even in the coldest winters, warmth still lives in our hearts, because sometimes all it takes is remembering.